Hello there, Tristan Ogilvie here alongside one Cam Shea.
Hi Tristan, if you don't mind, I'm trying to play, so just keep the commentary to a minimum if you don't mind.
You are in the middle of reviewing OlliOlli 2.
Well, I've actually reviewed OlliOlli 2.
Okay, so you've done the work, now you just kind of...
Now I'm just enjoying myself.
Yeah, but we should point out that during this review commentary you will be playing live, and this game requires a lot of concentration.
I have no idea how this is going to go, because honestly, I am not convinced I'm particularly good at it, even though I really, really love it.
Well, it looks fantastic. One thing, I'm just looking at your review in front of me now, and one thing that you said at the top of the review is that this is obviously a sequel to the original OlliOlli, and you've stated that it's developer Roll7's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, which is one of the most iconic skateboarding games of all time.
Yeah, that's right.
And a huge step up from the original game in that series. So sort of, can you elaborate how much has changed?
Well, exactly like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, this game actually introduces the manual. Right. So if I if I ollie, and then I can just, All right, let me just give that another crack. All right, so just like Tony Hawk,
nice. You
can thank you very much. You can manual between tricks, right? And so what that means is that there's now the possibility to do an entire level in a single combo.
Right.
And that's kind of where a lot of the depth comes from. But honestly, there's a lot more going on here than just that. I mean, for starters, if you haven't played the original OlliOlli, excuse me, if you haven't played the original, what's different about this game is that it's all about timing landing your tricks, right? So you actually have to press a button to land on the ground, right? Like that, right? And so it takes quite a lot of getting used to, because you're used to, like, say you're playing skate, or, skate's a good example, actually. That's all about kind of, the rotation on the stick and kind of nailing that, and then the trick is kind of happening. Yep. Whereas in this game, like, the actual kind of motions for doing tricks are, well, they range from quite straightforward to quite involved. Yes, the motions are, can be kind of all sorts of things, but it's actually about just timing the landing. Right. And if you don't press anything, it's sloppy. Whereas if you get it just right, and it goes for grinds too, you get that green kind of spark behind the board. Right. And that on a grind, that'll actually give you a speed boost. And there are kind of elements of the level design where you have to be getting that timing right, or you're not going to be able to complete the grind. You're going to run out of speed, basically. Right. So yeah, it's a really interesting kind of core mechanics, and with this sequel they've expanded upon it in a really, really wonderful way. And
so speaking of that expansion, how does the learning curve ramp up, so to speak, that's one for the skaters out there? Yeah,
nicely done, dude. Well, you start... let's see if we can get an analogy going here. You start at the top of a hill, right? And you're kind of cruising down, and it's it's pretty manageable. And suddenly you just drop off a cliff. That's not actually true. Okay. It's actually a really, really smooth learning curve. As you can see here, there are amateur levels and pro levels, and there's 5 different settings. And obviously, the further you go through, the more difficult they get. You can see, like, I'm only, I haven't, I've gotten 5 stars on a bunch of these, and getting 5. Being the 5 challenges on each level unlocks kind of a corresponding pro level that has its own 5 challenges. Right. But as you can see, you go through here, and like, I haven't been doing very well on these levels so far. And I'll give you like a really little quick taste of why that is.
Okay, so this seems quite involved
now,
already.
See, I have to basically hit the timing on the manuals and grinds, or I'm going to run out of speed, and I'm not going to be able to make the transitions.
So far, so good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm not doing any interesting tricks whatsoever. Right, like, I'm just like, this is functional skating. But, I mean, you can see the appeal, right? Like, you kind of, like, once you get the kind of basics of a level like this down, then you start looking at the challenges, right? So I can beat that level, not a problem. Yep. And I've beaten a couple of these challenges, but then you've got these other kind of make every manual, revert, and landing perfect. So that's that timing thing. And so the challenges really do a good job, actually, of kind of teaching you the mechanics of the game. So the way I kind of played through this was I just kind of finished each level through to the end of amateur,
Right.
and then I went back and started kind of 5-starring, the earlier levels because it's a little bit more easy.
Yep.
And then kind of hopping back and forth between manual and pro, and just gradually kind of working my way through them. And so there'll be kind of challenges that are kind of trick specific, like this one has land to 720 spins and finish the level.
Right. Cool.
Pull a nose slide to 360 hard flip, or just score challenges, or it might be like there's a couple of challenges that are like don't grind in the entire level, and that just completely changes how you approach it,
Yep.
the timing required, and what you're trying to do. And similar deal with kind of hidden icons and stuff that really you need to kind of know exactly when to miss a grind, and takes very particular kind of tactics to beat some of the challenges. So I'll just quickly show you like the trick selection. It's really massive.
Wow.
As I mentioned before, you start out really basic, like you just push left and then release, and then you have rotations, bigger rotations, and then rotations plus shoulder buttons, and then rotations and rotations back. And so there's and then you can layer in kind of like actual physical skater rotations in the air as well, with the shoulder buttons on top of tricks. And grinds are a bit more straightforward. It's 4 directions and then shoulder button combinations.
Yeah, wow.
But there's a lot going on. You can nollie and that kind of stuff as well. So there's a lot here. It's pretty cool.
We should highlight just the look of the game and how much that has changed since the original.
Yeah, big time. I mean, maybe I don't know if there's any kind of magical way to do this, but it would be pretty rad if you could. Actually, don't do it now. Don't do it now. I was going to say you should cut in some footage. Okay, do it now.
Do it now.
Okay. Yeah, do it now. So this is what
this
is what the original game looked like. Very much kind of pixel art inspired, but the scrolling kind of feels a bit weird. It's kind of hard to get your head around.
Right.
You don't get as much of a sense of kind of the level coming up on you.
Right,
Whereas this one, like, it's just so slick. I really love the kind of flat shaded look. I love like how many kind of layers there are to the graphics. It's kind of got that kind of slightly painterly kind of. I see there's motion blur in the background.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun, man.
Gotta love that parallax scrolling.
See, I didn't nail the timing on that landing right, so I just physically couldn't make the next jump. So it's really all about timing, and kind of in terms of the visuals. I mean, obviously the actual aesthetic is really nice, but the crucial thing is just how smooth it is. It runs.
Well, it has to be, right?
Yeah, it runs at such a crisp frame rate.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it again. Jesus. It runs at such a crisp frame rate, and the controls are super responsive.
Yeah.
So it just feels beautiful to play. Oops.
and the whole sort of Trials HD instant restart thing is I mean, I'm sure the original game had that. I'm not
Yeah, it just wouldn't be anywhere near as much fun without that. If you had any kind of lag between failing and restarting.
Yeah, it's a turn off.
It's a massive turn off. And I mean, that's the thing, is like I generally don't like. I found Trials really frustrating. I mean,
you're not alone.
I think it's maybe because the physics are so kind of nuanced.
Yep.
Whereas I think with this, like, it's quite clear how things work, and you understand, like, I have a much better sense of why I'm doing stuff wrong.
Right.
Than I did with Trials. And so I haven't actually found this to be frustrating. I mean, the guys in the office have watched me, like, actually they've watched me attempt a level so many times that they just ended up just leaving because I was just doing it over and over again. But rather than kind of getting really angry, I was just like, oh, well, try again. Oh, well, try again.
Yep.
Oh, well, try again until you get it right. So yeah, like some really nice settings. You've got kind of Olliwood kind of film backlots. You've got the Aztec theme. You've got Wild West, lots of TNT and stuff in there. Roller coasters, and then this crazy future city.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm not all that great at this game, but as somebody who has kind of had a lifelong obsession with tricks and skateboarding and kind of style, it really, really appeals to me. Oh, by the way, what I just did there was switch grinds.
That looked good.
And again, that's something that you can only do if you enter the grind perfectly. Otherwise, it's
this is cool.
It's not
this
available.
whole roller coaster
dear.
level. So before we sort of wrap things up and get to the score and the final verdict, are there any sort of this has been a glowing review? Are there any sort of negatives or?
Let me just pop back out. Yeah, there's okay. So that's the career mode. There's also spots, right? And these are separate kind of levels that aren't about beating challenges, just about posting a high score. And once you've done that, you go onto like a worldwide leaderboard.
Yep.
Which I can show you here. So
number 23, not too bad.
There's very few people playing this game at this point. This is like a couple of days ago, I was significantly higher than that, but that's just purely because there was like 20 or 30 people playing it total live. But
damn you, Asronulation.
Yeah, but I just really like to be able to, I wish like when I post a run, I'd love for that replay to be uploaded, and then I'd love to be able to hop in and see
how the pros do it.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the top scores are just absolutely insane. Let's see.
You would think it's sort of in this era of gaming that we're in. That
especially like with PS4 having kind of all that replay cloud save video functionality. Yeah, like synergy. All the synergies between
there's so many synergies in this box.
Blue sky.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. And there's also a mode that's coming after launch that introduces split screen multiplayer, which is going to be kind of the missing piece of the puzzle, I think.
Okay, awesome.
So I'd love to see that now, but I'm not going to hold it against them because it's coming.
So yeah, that is Olliwood. What is the overall score?
I give this game a 9 out of 10.
That is a big score.
I've really, really enjoyed my time with it. I found the learning curve to be just spot on, and I'm just going to keep coming back to it and gradually kind of pick my way through it, and just get all those stars, because after you get all 50 pro and amateur stars, you unlock even harder levels. So when I get to that, I have no idea, but that's gradually what I'm aiming for.
Nice one. Well, that was the video review commentary for OlliOlli 2. Welcome to Olliwood. Thank you very much, Cam, for taking the time.
Thank you, Tristan.
And for all things OlliOlli 2, stick with IGN.
And how far can I go?
He's still going.
Oh, no, I'm running out of steam.
Oh.
Bye.